With all the latest big talking points, news and discussion from the football world, this is the Football Central. And go.
Hello everybody and welcome to Football Central. This is your weekly roundup of all the football games that have taken place so far this week, including Burnley against Liverpool, which is currently taking place. We'll also be rounding up some transfer news as well, looking ahead to the FA Cup games that take place this weekend, and we'll be looking at the potential of a Super League with the big teams breaking away from the rest of their leagues, the likes of Real Madrid, Manchester United, Barcelona, doing a league of their own. Not literally a league of their own, that's a show, but a European giant league, which I am completely against, but we'll get into that. With me tonight, I am Sam Taylor, and with me is your host, Mr. TubeMix.
Thank you very much, Sam. Good evening, how are you?
Good evening, yes, I'm good. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are stuck with just us two tonight, as JLI Wheels is working hard, earning the dosh, and Gracie 21 is not with us tonight, and Ben Carney is still on the treatment table. I've heard that he's got a dislocated shoulder now, so bless him. He does get his injuries on that injury table, so get better soon, buddy. Anyway, without further ado, we have a lot to get through tonight. It is a bit of a mismatched football show because there's a lot going on in the football world. It's kicking up quite a storm, the football world, don't you think, Mr. TubeMix? It's not just stormy outside, it's stormy in the football world too.
It is indeed.
We will be covering for the next 2 hours all the football, so please get in touch with us, or even if you just want to chat about something general, please get in touch with the show and leave your comments, which TubeMix, as I'll remind him as we go along, should read them out. I hope you're all well and safe. And without further ado, I'll hand you over to Mr. TubeMix.
Right, thank you very much for that intro, Sam. You never disappoint, and I liked how you connected the storm as well. That was that was very good as always, Sam. Like I said, you never disappoint.
Thank you.
You definitely we definitely don't have to worry about your match sharpness.
Nope. I'm fit as a fiddle, I am. Anyway, enough of the puns. I think the viewers will want some. They're here to hear us ramble on about football like us all over us. But shall we get cracking, Will? Because we've got a lot to get through tonight.
Yes, we have got a lot to get through. So we'll start on Monday the 18th of January. And it finished Arsenal 3, Newcastle United 0. Another great game for Arsenal. Emil Smith-Rowe continuing to do well. Thomas Partey also on his return to the starting 11 doing well as well. And even Cedric Souls deputising for Hector Bellerin doing well as well. And Saka and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is also back to form. So lots of positives for Arsenal. For Newcastle, well, it really wasn't a great game at all. Arsenal, I'm pretty sure, I looked at the stats, did dominate in every area. So just make sure.
I watched the game. And
oh, yes, sorry, Sam, what's your thoughts?
First off, Arsenal were passing the ball, but without much end product. Aubameyang had a chance that came off the back of the post from a tight angle. But I think in the main, Arsenal's power was too much for Newcastle. They sat very deep, Newcastle. I heard Steve Bruce was going to change his tactics and do things his way, he said, before the match, but I didn't see much of a difference. I want just to break away from that for a minute, Will. I think it's important to say to the viewers, if you're wondering why we're starting on Monday's matches, obviously normally we do it on Thursday around the week up of the previous round of matches, which we are doing, but I'm fully aware that we're a round of matches at the weekend as well. But it would just take too long to cover all of them, so we're starting with Mondays. But if you were getting a bit confused, that's why. But back to the game itself. I mean, Arsenal, it's steady steps for Arsenal. I was really impressed with Emil Smith-Rowe. I'm a big fan of his, actually.
Really good player, isn't he?
Well, he's a young player and he will drop off. You know, he will go through spells of difficulty. But I think him and Saka, and although Martinelli's not played a lot because he's been injured, having him back in the squad, I think it's given the Arsenal more experienced players and arguably better players, but it's given them a lift.
It has, yes.
Coming in. And it's also allowed them to made them raise the standards because the youth has come in and been very energetic and very very good. So yeah, I mean, I have to say, I think Saka played well.
I'm a big fan of Saka.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure about him at first. The only thing that worries me about Saka is he can play in a variety of different positions.
Yeah, he's very versatile.
Which is good. You know, he can play full-back, winger, midfield even, but it's good. But one thing that we saw, you see sometimes, is players are too versatile and they never stick on one position.
Yeah, you know, like Eric Dyer a lot before.
Like Eric Dyer has now, but Eric Dyer for a while was centre-half midfield, and it's good to have that option. You know, like Phil Jagielka was good in goal if they had an issue, but, you know, it's important not to be overly versatile, and obviously they are attributes, but you want to nail down a position.
Absolutely.
When I say nail down a position, I don't mean the starting position in the team. I just mean where you are most comfortable.
No. Yeah. I get what you mean.
Because you don't want to be moved around the field all the time. And I think, I know this is a player you don't really like, Will, but if we go back to near the end of Fergie's time, not quite the end, but a couple of years before, when we brought Phil Jones from Blackburn, but you might laugh, but we played Phil Jones in centre half, midfield, full back, and I know he's not really progressed, but that was partly his problem as well. I
Oh,
always thought that we played him in too many positions, and that's good because if you've got injuries, if you've got an injury to a fullback, for England, say, then or for Arsenal, but I'm just doing it with my England head on with the Euros coming up.
yeah,
You could
that's fair
put
enough.
Saka in there, even if he's not first choice. If he's in the squad, you can put him in there without having to call somebody up off the short list because
Yes.
he can play. He can play in different positions. But he's just got to be careful that over time he identifies where he can play. But I thought Smith Rowe had an assist as well and looks
He did,
excellent.
yes.
But they were saying on commentary on Sky, Mesut who, meaning
Yes.
Mesut Ozil, but who has now flown to Turkey. Personal terms haven't been agreed with Fenerbahce yet, but
Yeah,
we
well,
will get onto that a bit
he comes out of
later.
quarantine tomorrow, Ozil, so that's what's holding it
Yeah.
up.
But I think, I really like Martinelli,
Oh,
and
yes, I do as well.
I'm glad his injury is not that bad because I don't know if you know, Will, but he got injured in the cup,
Yes,
um,
yeah, I know,
and
yeah, yeah.
he came off in tears, and I don't
Yes.
like to see that because he looked like he feared the worst. But the fact he's back so quickly, and is good. As for Newcastle, I mean, they've got to be careful they don't get sucked in. They're now only 5 points off the relegation zone. I think talk of sacking Steve Bruce is ridiculous, but I do think that the style sometimes, they've got attacking players now. They've
Yes,
got
it's
the
so
likes of
negative, isn't it?
they've got the likes of Almiron who's quick and he can use his pace. I don't rate him much, but in a team that's not Almiron, but in a team that's like Almiron, but in a team that's defensive, it's hard for Joe Linton, who's a natural forward player.
Yes.
You've got Callum Wilson, who we know is a proven goal scorer.
Yes, a great
I,
play.
and I actually, Newcastle's a great club, Newcastle fans, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody here, but I actually think it was interesting that he went from Bournemouth to Newcastle. Not that he went to a team in the Premier League, but if you look at Bournemouth, they like to play attacking, passing football, and he's sort of gone to a team that's the opposite of that and is quite negative.
Yes.
Um, so I don't think it suits his style as
No.
much. I think he should have gone to somewhere like a Southampton or somewhere
Or
like that.
Brighton. Brighton, maybe.
Yeah, Brighton or Southampton that like to keep the ball and press high. I don't think Newcastle utilises pace, and
No.
I think he's better in an attacking team. Which Bournemouth are nowhere near the bottom of the league, but they played attacking football, didn't
Oh,
they?
they did, yes.
They weren't a team that would just sit back and they concede a lot because they didn't have the best players, but they played really good football. So so I just think that for Newcastle, I mean, they're just too defensive. You look at the players. I mean, Jojo Shelby, as
Yes.
good as De Bruyne is, but you look how good he is at long range passing. Technically, he's a very gifted footballer. In terms of his passing and his free kicks and stuff. And I just think, obviously, I get that when you are at a club like Newcastle, you're gonna miss certain players as good as they are, and they brought Fraser in as well as attacking player, but they are missing Saint Maximin. I get
Yes.
that. He's a very good player and good with the ball. But I do think even with St. Maximin team, I don't know what you think, Will, but I just think Newcastle are a bit negative in their approach. I'd rather see Newcastle concede more goals,
But play
but
good football.
playing better football. Yeah, I'm not saying go all out attack and don't defend. Defending is the art of building on any success.
Oh,
If you
well,
can't
yes, of
defend,
course
you've
it is.
got no chance. But I'm just saying that they need to be a bit more attacking, and I'll let you have your say now.
Yes, well, I don't really have any sympathy for Steve Bruce because his style, obviously when they get results, but if they're not getting results and they're still playing with this style, I don't have any sympathy for him. I think his style of football, is really boring, really negative, and I feel sorry for Callum Wilson, as a, like you said, who, Bournemouth played some really good football, and I just feel so sorry that for, lots of the players who probably feel like they're held back by this, negative tactics and stuff. And
I
actually,
agree.
I also, I'm not sure whether you heard, but Steve Bruce said the gloves are off when Newcastle played. It was not the Arsenal game, the one just before that.
Yes, it was Sheffield United when they lost.
Yes, that was it. And I don't think saying things like that help either because you can lose the dressing room. And I do wonder.
Think saying that was fine, but you need to be able to show that there's a difference there, even in your approach.
Oh, well, yes.
Not necessarily results, but just in your, approach. And
No, I know.
He doesn't seem to he didn't seem, certainly against Arsenal. Now, they were the away side. But Arsenal are quite fragile, aren't they, really? They have been. So get at them and test them, but they didn't do that.
Yes. In my opinion, from what I've seen, I don't think some of those players are playing for the manager. I don't think.
I don't think they'll get relegated, though.
No. I don't think they will get relegated. But I think, yeah, if they don't start winning soon, then Steve Bruce is in a very difficult position, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. Steve Bruce, I really, obviously we know the history of him as a player, but not all players make, great managers. And Steve Bruce, is one that I, don't rate as a good manager, particularly.
I think, there's an interesting quote there. You've just said that. And there's a famous quote that says, being a good player doesn't always make a good manager. But then, just because you've been a good manager doesn't mean you're necessarily a good player.
No, yeah, exactly.
You look at Alex Ferguson, I think he played in the Scottish second division or something. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, as a manager, Pep Guardiola, at his end of his career, when he was about 32, 33, Wigan approached him, and
Wigan,
and he was told, when he was still playing.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, why didn't you sign? Did you not fancy it?" He said, "No, I liked it because they played good football and I was coming to the end of my career. But I was told after a few training sessions and trials with them that I wasn't good enough." Yeah.
Well, could you imagine that Guardiola played for Wigan?
Yeah, so he wasn't good enough to play for Wigan, Will. And this was when they were in the Prem, first in the Prem. But he said, I was looking at the players around me and I knew I wasn't good enough. But you look how good he is as a manager.
Yeah.
And so people have the different specialities, don't they?
Oh, yes, of course.
Like yours is presented.
Well, yes. Or sometimes you probably think otherwise, but thank you.
Arsenal with a chance of Europe or not?
I think if they keep
Probably
this
not.
good form together, and I think, Smith Rowe, the likes of Saka, obviously, they're embarrassing, Nicholas Pepe and Willian, Pepe bought for 72 million, and it must be
He's
so
not done
embarrassing for him. He's been, the youth sort of have been doing better than he has done for pretty much his whole Arsenal career so far.
Yeah.
And I,
Yeah,
and
but
I
then you could
sorry.
say, sorry, I was just going to say, you could say, you look at Smith Rowe, all right, Saka as well, and Martinelli. I know he's not the academy to do in Brazilian football, but the young players, you've got two players there who are homegrown players, as in they've come through the youth system at Arsenal.
Yes,
So,
Smith Rowe and Saka, yeah.
and you've got a hungry player who's willing to prove himself
Well,
after being
it's good
brought.
that that's what you want, and I hope Ozil, when he's in Fenerbahce, he'll probably regret, some of his, the way his Arsenal career ended, because he must be
Yeah,
embarrassed.
I mean, you look at it's a great story with Martinelli. I know he was only young, but he was in the 2 years ago. He was playing in the Brazilian fourth tier, which
Yeah,
I believe is semi-professional. It's a bit like Chorley playing. So and he's come to Arsenal. And for a young player, he did really well last year. I know so far this year he's obviously been very unfortunate, but he looks hungry. The fact he was really upset when he got injured.
oh,
That showed
that's
passion.
good. That's what you want to see. You want to see passion. You want to see, willing to take on that man. That's what you want to see. The hunger, the desire.
Yeah, and okay, he's nowhere near the finished article. We're not saying Martinelli's got a lot of improvement to do. Of course he has, but he's a young player. And if you're working with, and so is Smith Rowe and Saka, but if you're working with passion, then that's 70% of the battle. So, that you've won there.
Yes, yeah,
Players,
absolutely.
and yeah, sorry, Will. I know that we probably have spoken a bit long on this, but
No, I just want to say, I think Arsenal, I think they'll do well in the Europa League, I think. Can
yeah,
they get to Europe by the table? Do you know the way this season is going? I just, I would want to predict because it's changing every few games.
I think they've got a chance of getting to the Europa League that way, but I don't think they'll get to the top four.
Oh no! I don't think they'll get into the top four. They're best if they finish sixth. That's a good season for Arsenal.
Well, if they finish sixth and win the Europa League, you get in the Champions League anyway for winning the Europa League.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I think because the Europa League's going to be interesting because obviously you've got United, obviously who's in there now. You've got Arsenal.
Leicester.
Yes, Inter Milan. They're in the Europa League, I think, because they're out of the Champions League. So it'll be
Yeah, from an English perspective, I mean, there's always some good sides that filter down to the Europa League, and not just filter down, but obviously when you get those Champions League teams that finish third and go into the Europa League,
Oh,
but
of
then
course,
you also
yes.
have good Europa League sides, and I think you look at. I mean, I wouldn't like to say in the Europa League, I don't know, because there's some big teams in there. But from an English perspective, having Man United, Arsenal, and Leicester in there, I know that's certainly where Arsenal and Man United would want to be. We'd want to be in the Champions League, of course. Leicester, well, as much as they'd love to get in the Champions League, getting to the Europa League was still a great season for them. But you look at those teams, and we've got a strong you could make a case that any of those teams have a chance of winning it, winning the
Yes, I mean, I
competition.
wouldn't be surprised if Leicester win it, actually. I would
Yeah,
be.
as in they're not the favourites, but they've all got a realistic chance
No, no,
of.
no, I know. And
I
yeah,
do like, unless it's Liverpool or Man City, I do like to support the English teams in Europe. In fact, I like to support the Scottish teams in Europe
yeah,
as
well,
well.
Rangers, I mean, Rangers are doing very well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're into the Europa League last 32, aren't they? Or is it 16 now? I think it's 32.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. And yeah, obviously they're doing well at the top of the Scottish Premiership as well, so.
Yeah, Morelos looks happy again.
Yes, and yeah, there's a lot of talk about him going, but so yeah, obviously we'll move on in a minute. Yeah, so good things at Arsenal. I'll be really excited to see, obviously, see more of Partey. I'll be excited to see if Aubameyang, his confidence will be back. I'll be
He's a
excited to see.
great player.
What's
There's
that?
no doubt about it. He's a great player. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, he is, yes. But I began to fear once he signed, his new contract and he wasn't doing very well, I began to fear, oh dear, this is like the Ozil situation, signing the new
I think,
contract.
to be fair, Will, the team wasn't playing well, though, was it?
No, and he was,
And that
it's all
affects.
about confidence, isn't it? But now they've got this confidence, and I'll be very excited to watch Arsenal. Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka.
The only thing is, Will, is that they could, a couple of defeats and the fact that they're only in mid-table, a couple of defeats and it could all go back downhill again. They've given themselves a lot of work to do.
Yeah, but I think I'd be very optimistic if I was an Arsenal fan now. I think.
I think I'd be wary that it could all, a couple of defeats and the pressure would be on Arteta again. But if they can get through the next 4 or 5 games and get themselves right on the table, then yeah, it'll be a great recovery and interesting to see if they can push on from there. I don't know if we got any comments, Will, if we have.
No comments yet, but I'll keep looking, keep diving in and out. So.
Get those comments in, people.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
Also, as we're going through the games, even if by this game we're about to move on from now, but if you have anything you'd like to add about any of the games we're going on about, even if we talk through them, or any of the teams, or even if it's teams that haven't played during this little period this week, then please get in touch with us. We'd love to hear.
Yes, absolutely.
With that, I'll hand back over to your host.
Right, thank you very much, Sam. So, the next game it finished West Ham United 2, West Brom 1. Obviously, seems like a good game. Mikel Antonio, since he's been back from injury, really good for West Ham to have him back. One thing that's obviously...
I think you've got quality.
What's that, sorry?
I really like Antonio.
Yes, if he could just stay fit, because he's struggled with injuries, hasn't he, at the moment?
He has. I didn't actually see the highlights of this game, did you?
No, I'm not seeing the highlights, but, can look at the statistics, and there's still some stuff we could talk about. So, I don't know if you saw this, Sam, but Robert Snodgrass, who West Brom have now signed, basically the Premier League are investigating because there was a gentleman's agreement that Snodgrass couldn't play, basically.
Why, if he's signed for West Brom?
So, okay, it says here, so under normal circumstances, Snodgrass would be eligible to play against West Ham as his transfer was permanent. It is only with loan deals that such restrictions apply in the Premier League. In those circumstances, a player can't face their
Which we
parent
know
club.
of. Yeah.
But, yeah, he was... I think they're confused because obviously it was a permanent transfer.
And what does it say under that?
Well, I'm not... There's agreement between the clubs in this game. He would not be allowed to play. Premier League rules...
Oh, right. So the clubs agreed it, did they?
Yeah, it seems so. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, but well, we'll...
So just read me the statement out, Will.
Right, so Premier League rules said... Oh, right, sorry, okay. So, under normal circumstances, Snodgrass would have been eligible to play against West Ham as his transfer was permanent. It is only with loan deals that such restrictions apply in the Premier League. In those circumstances, a player can't face their parent club. There was an agreement.
Which we know.
Yep, there was an agreement between the clubs that in this game he would not be allowed to play. Premier League Rule 17 listed in the competition's 2020-21 handbook states that no club should enter a contract which enables any other party to that contract to acquire the ability materially to influence its policies or the performance of its teams in league matches.
Yeah, so what that's saying is, well, is that they're saying that the fact that it was a permanent deal, the Premier League, the fact that it was a permanent deal, that they're not really allowed West Brom and West Ham to have a verbal agreement that he couldn't play.
Yeah.
Because that goes against the rules because he's not a West Ham player anymore.
No.
So it's like, and I suppose they don't want a precedent to be set. You know, like say this happened, say the Premier League let this go, and said, oh yeah, it's fine, but then another club, two other clubs might do it. You know, let's give a example. Say Connor Cody moved to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Defend, right? And then they played Wolves. I don't know if they have in January got Wolves or not, but let's say they played Wolves.
Yes.
And Wolves said, oh, you can't. Man United and Wolves said, I tell you what, Liverpool and Wolves said, I tell you what, we won't play him in this game. And have a deal in place, because that then leads the question of allowing teams to get away with it, and also the fact is that it damages the competition. It's like when they say a player's cup time. If they move from one team to another but have already played for their original side in the cup. It's like, so that's the same thing. Like, it's the competition, that rules are integral, and you might think, well, it's not a big thing, but it's undermining the fact that they've had that agreement in place, and a verbal agreement, and that's not been sanctioned by the league by the looks of it. It damages the integrity of the league. Did he play then? Did he not play?
No, we didn't play, no.
So the league will investigate that, and they might find that West Ham and West Brom, because they're both to blame, because there might have been some money involved in that. Or if you don't play, we'll give you an extra million for him or whatever. I don't know, but I'm just speculating. But
Oh yeah,
it
yeah.
might be that the two teams get fined, or if the league find that they've really, done serious damage, they might deduct, I don't know, the points.
Oh.
For and give the points. That obviously West Brom didn't get any points, so they give the points that West Ham had to another team, or they just take them off West Ham, and then deduct points. They might not a serious deduction, I don't think, but it might be deducted 5 points for each team, which for West Brom would be a real problem. So in particular, so how stupid though? How stupid? I'm sorry, but how stupid has football got? Teams think if that is the case, and I respect that we don't know all the details, so it's difficult to judge. We're basing it on one article. But how stupid if the clubs have done that just to get more money, and then they can put their seasons in jeopardy, and the players in jeopardy, and draw attention to themselves. And it's a good point to whether people want their say on that, feel free. But I just think it's stupid how clubs can be talked into that. It's just madness for me, and shows corruption. I get with the loan thing because it's owned by the parent club. That's a separate issue. The parent club have a right to say, "Oh, we can't play." That's the rules. He can't play against us. Fair enough, because he's his player and he's probably got that team's player. He's probably got a vested interest, and it could affect the player as well. But playing against effectively his club for another club, but when the deals have been signed, you can't be having that. You absolutely can't be having that. It's I don't know what you think, Will, but I think I think they've been absolutely stupid to avoid the rule, to flout the rules if that's the case.
Well, like we said, we don't really know the full details, mate, so it's kind of hard to get an opinion, really.
But if they have flouted the rules, what do you think about that?
Well, obviously that wouldn't be good, would it? So yeah, we'll await the league's investigation for that. Oh, and sorry, we just forgot to say who the goals are scored for Arsenal. Sorry, so the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the 50th and 77th minute. Partey assisted Aubameyang's first goal, and then Smith Rowe assisted Saka's goal in the 60th minute, and Cedric Soares assisted Aubameyang's goal. And then, so we'll just go back to the West Ham and West Brom and tell you who scored that. Then we'll be ready to move on. So, sorry about that.
It's Liverpool 0, Burnley 0, by the way, at the minute.
Yes, I've just been looking at it. So for West Ham, it was Jared Bowen in the 1 minute added on to just before half time, and then assisted by Kufal. Mikel Antonio in the 66th minute, assisted by Yarmolenko. And for West Brom, Costa Pereira in the 51st minute, assisted by Grosicki
played for Hull.
Oh, right. Thank you for that, Sam.
He was in the same Hull side as Jared Bowen.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, when they were in the Championship, yeah. And
I believe that Antonio's winner, was it? Did Antonio get the winner?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, not keeping you awake, are we,
No,
TubeMix?
just a little yawn. Sorry, apologise.
I believe Antonio's winner was a stunner. I'm not seeing it,
Yeah,
but
I've
I
not
believe
seen it, so I don't know, but
it's a great goal.
yeah.
But for West Ham, they keep climbing that table after all the issues they had with Grady Dean Garner going to West
Oh
Brom at the
gosh, yeah,
start of the
it's
season.
you'd almost forgotten about that because West Ham, we were saying on this show, oh dear, it could get a bit toxic, it could get a bit ugly, but no,
But actually, it seems to have done the opposite to them. It seems to have
it's fired
seems
them
to
on,
have
but in a good way. Yeah,
it seems to have brought them all together and ignited the passion in both the manager and the players and the
yes,
team. So,
which is what you
and
want.
West Ham, I don't think they'll finish anywhere near the top 7, but I do think top 10 this year. 10th could be a realistic finish, and that would be a great finish for West Ham.
It
Along with
would,
a cup
yes, they
run,
would be in a relegation
being away
scrap for
from that,
once.
relegation, and I think they'll be looking up rather than over their shoulders for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. And the next game we move on to finish Leicester City 2, Chelsea 0, Wilfred Ndidi.
Sorry, Will. Just quickly on West Brom, where do you stand with West Brom?
Well, obviously, because I don't like.
Taking aside, you dislike the Sam Allardyce.
Yes,
Forgetting
yes.
it's
Sorry.
Sam Allardyce, where as in your personal dislike for him, which is fair enough. What do you think about West Brom's chances of staying up?
Well, I'm not sure they've really got the players. I mean, Robert Snodgrass, he's certainly getting on a bit. So, yeah, not sure that he's going to do, that much. Yeah, I don't know. I just think West Brom, they've... when they had Solomon Rondon, Rondon scored loads of goals for them. He was a great player for them, and obviously Lukaku did well at West Brom as well. But I can't see them staying up because I just don't think they have the players really. And also, it seems to me West Brom do have some disciplinary issues. Kieran Gibbs, there's been there's been quite a few red cards and yellow cards and sending offs as well. So, yeah, I think I can't see them staying up, West Brom.
I think they've got a chance. I think it's the toughest job Sam Allardyce has had, and because I think the league's better, but he can't go against his record, so they've got a chance.
Well, yeah, but it's about having the players as well.
It is, but his record does speak for itself.
Well, hopefully he'll fail, we'll see.
Sorry, West Brom fans.
So I do apologise, West Bromwich Albion fans, but yeah, let's just move on, I think. So...
There goes another 5 subscribers.
So it finished Leicester City 2, Chelsea 0, Wilfred Ndidi in the 6th minute, assisted by Harvey Barnes, and James Maddison in the 41st minute, assisted by Mark Albrighton. So did you see the game, Sam?
I did. Did you?
I saw a bit of it. Yes. What was your thoughts on the game?
I thought Leicester City thoroughly deserved it. I think Chelsea Chelsea looked okay going forward, and I say okay, being just okay. But defensively, they were absolutely shambolic. I mean, for both goals. So for Wilfred Ndidi's goal, poor they took a short corner and then whipped it in, and poor Christian Pulisic was left 2-against-1 with Madison and was it O'Brien who came over to help him with the corner, but nobody reacted in the box for Chelsea to stop the to try and stop the danger. Now I appreciate that. I think it was Johnny Evans blocked the defender off in front
Yeah.
of the keeper and in front of Mendy. You're right there, Will. In
Yeah,
front
yeah.
of Mendy. You were like, oh yeah. In front
Oh,
of
sorry.
do you have a liking for Johnny Evans, dude?
No. So I have no idea what came over me. Sorry, Sam.
I've got a shirt with his name on the back, an old Man United shirt. If you want it, you can sleep with it under your pillow.
No. Oh dear. Oh, well, how embarrassing. Let's just move on.
Oh, but yeah. So I get that Johnny Evans blocked the defender coming out to try and stop the corner, but Pulisic was left 2-against-1, and I thought it was awful. And then, even when the corner they didn't clear the first one, but then it came out to Wilfred Ndidi. Well, I think it was meant for Harvey Barnes who missed it.
Yeah.
It fell to Ndidi behind him on the edge of the box, and there was nobody closing Ndidi down. I mean, I'm not saying you have to get to him and stop the shot, but at least put him under a bit of pressure. He had the freedom of the King Power to hit that, and had green grass in front of him, and the defenders stood there and watched, like, go on then, hit it. You're Wilfred Ndidi, you don't get many goals, so we'll just let you hit it, and you'll hit it miles over the bar. And what did he do? He smashed it in the back of the net off the underside of the crossbar. So, I thought Chelsea was their own downfalls with the first goal. The second goal, I know JLI Wheels, Jordan, is a big fan of Reece James. And,
Yes.
and obviously he's got to learn, and I get he'll make mistakes. And Jordan's probably the one that he studied Chelsea probably more in detail than what we did, because I was looking from a neutral perspective, hoping Leicester would win. So, but obviously when you're animated with your team, you sometimes miss what the opposition are doing because you're so focused on what you want your team to do. But Reece James for the second goal, that was Harvey Barnes who scored that one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Harvey Barnes. Yes.
Brighton runs with the ball and goes to take the shot, and Rudiger gets out to him. But as soon as Rudiger goes out, and obviously Brighton was running down James's wing, so I understand his focus was probably on Albrighton, but as soon as Albrighton cuts in field, the defender or the defenders have to. He's the danger then to those two central defenders. So I get that their attention was drawn to him. But what Reece James has to do is keep on running and then pick up Harvey Barnes, because suddenly Mark O'Brien's not the threat for him. if Mark O'Brien goes on and scores from that centralist position, then it's the two centre halves' fault for not then picking him up because James can't run back with him because it leaves space for Harvey Barnes to exploit. But then as soon as Harvey Barnes becomes a danger, and you can see that, and O'Brien's run off and pick up Harvey Barnes. And Reece James was like, oh, this is never going to come to Harvey Barnes. So I'll block it and it won't rebound to Harvey. And what did it do? It went to Barnes and all right, Reece James, you're not there. You're ball watching. He was stood there like a puppet. And Barnes put it in with a great finish. But Reece James has to stay with his man. It's basic defending. And if your man changes, then it changes. How often for United did you see Ronaldo and Nani switch wings, or Ronaldo and Giggs? You know, they switch wings all the time. You know, all right, they might start on the left, one on the left, one on the right, but they move around, so different players have to pick them up. And when I don't really blame the two centre halves, even though the clearance wasn't great, because they were trying to pick up O'Brien, and Reece James should have been goal side, putting Harvey Barnes under pressure, either going in for the tackle or forcing him wide. But he didn't do either. He just stood there, and Barnes, thank you very much, gets the ball, knocks it past Mendy, because he's just ball watching. And it just frustrates me because it's basic defending, and he should know that. You know, if we were all playing musical statues, he would have won that race. But yeah, you can't do that in football. So yeah, but I just felt Leicester were better overall. Chelsea obviously had the moments. Kasper Schmeichel had to make a few good saves, but not good enough from Chelsea. Powder puff is what I call it.
Yeah.
Half-hearted effort. I sort of, I'm not making an excuse for Havertz, but I think it's difficult when he's had COVID and then he's come back and he's clearly struggling for fitness. And my neighbours have had COVID, and you know, I was speaking to my neighbour today over the fence. So we were well clear of our two meters. But he was saying, yeah, I feel better. But I just get very tired very quickly. And he said I went for a run this morning, and I couldn't because he liked his running.
Yeah.
And he had to stop after a minute because he couldn't run because he was getting breathless. And so I think even though like Havertz, I don't know what Havertz, the situation whether he's suffering from long COVID or whether he's, you know, just not got fitness or both. But he certainly, you know, you can understand if he is suffering from the longer effects that he struggled to run. But so I sort of take him out of it a little bit. But you know, I think Chelsea just lacks organisation. Every Leicester player, you see how well James Justin, who's really come on.
Oh yeah, he's doing really well, isn't he?
Took him a while to settle into the Prem, but that was because he came from League One, and it's not always easy. No disrespect.
Oh well, no, of course. And
they were flying high at the time, and now a Championship side, and I think it's great. A few years ago they were a League Two side, and now they're enjoying the second season in the Championship. But it's a big step up, and I think especially for a fullback, you have to get used to the movement of the attackers and midfielders and the players you're playing against.
Yeah.
But And, you can say the same about Castagna, but he's played at the top level for Atalanta, in the Champions League and things. So it's, he's used to quick players. But the
Yeah.
speed of thought was what was catching JJ out, as they like to call him, James Justin.
JJ, I like
But
that.
but now JJ seems to be confident. But it goes through the team. Again, we've said about Arsenal, the younger players coming in and playing well, and that's helped the more experienced players like Aubameyang and Lacazette to play a lot better.
Oh, yes, of
And
course it gives them a kick up the backside, doesn't it, as well?
of course it does. Of course it does. And Leicester City are playing well. They might have one or two players that have off days every now and again.
Well,
But
every player does at the end of the day.
yeah, of course. But the team as a whole is generally playing well. And they look like they know what they're doing in and out of possession. It's not just the counter-attacking side that we saw winning the league. They can be counter-attacking still. They've still got that in there, even though they've got
Yeah.
pretty much a whole different squad. But they can, they don't press quite as much, but they have a good shape about them, and they're good on the ball, and can pass you about. And if passing around's not working, they'll look for the counter attack in the face of Vardy and Barnes and etc. But Chelsea, to me, look like a team that have no idea what they're doing at the minute. They look like a group of individuals who have great talent, but are struggling to gel as a team. And we'll get Jelly Wills' opinion on that next time he's on the show, because obviously he's a Chelsea fan. And I don't know what you thought of the game, Will, because I've rambled on a bit there.
Well, I mean, it was always going to be interesting. And yeah, Chelsea, it's not going well for them at the moment. But Leicester, they're signing in the summer, Timothy Castagna, who came in and, he's been another great sign. They've not missed Ben Chilwell since he's left. I thought they would struggle when Chilwell went, but they didn't. And it's
great recruitment again.
Oh, absolutely. Leicester seem to be a very well-run club. The owners are brilliant. The recruitment has been brilliant. Leicester is just, it's just a great club. There's so much to like about Leicester City.
And obviously that's helped by what they did all those years ago, which we'll never forget. I think everybody who, until the generation that remember that pass away, they'll always be, we'll always remember that for all of our lifetime.
Oh gosh,
but,
yes.
I think we have to start judging Leicester on the Leicester of now as well, because I think they can get overshadowed sometimes by that team, quite rightly, because they won the league. But
well, yes, a lot of that team, is gone, isn't it? Because there's only Vardy, obviously, or Brighton's still there. But
Wes Morgan's still.
Oh, Wes Morgan's still there. Yep.
Michael.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's still there. But yeah, quite a lot of that team, a big chunk of it, have gone. So
yeah, but that just shows again development. I know they've obviously, you could say, well, losing Mahrez is when Kante wasn't development, but in terms of they brought new players in as well.
Yeah, Maddison, he's been brilliant.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't Barnes who. Wait, was it? Who scored the second goal for Leicester?
Oh, sorry, or Brighton. No, sorry, Maddison. But
I said it was Barnes, wasn't it? He let Barnes go, but I meant James let Maddison go.
But Barnes assisted Ndidi and Albrighton assisted Maddison.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I said that that they allowed Barnes to get away, Reece James, but I meant Maddison, so I do apologise. He let Maddison escape while he stood still to score. But you look at a team like Tottenham, who up to a few years ago, who finished, well, third, but were right in the title race with Leicester for a while in that year. But you look at the players they still had, great players, of course, but up until last year, say, they still had Ericsson, they still had, I know they haven't now, but there's still Harry Kane,
Yes.
Toby Alderweireld,
Yes.
Hugo Lloris,
Yes.
Dyer, Dyer, Lamella. So there's a big part of that side that's still there, and that's not a bad thing because they're good players and they were a young team. Ali, they were a young team, but you have to keep progressing as well.
Oh, of course.
And
yes.
Leicester, okay, although they've lost some of those players, without wanting to lose them, they definitely have moved forward, as in they've not stood still and gone, oh well, we lost them. Where Tottenham, you could argue that was Maurizio Pochettino's problem, that it got a bit stale, with the players. And that's partly because I know Tottenham are a rich club than Leicester, no doubt. They don't bring in. They're very tightly run, and so are Leicester. They're not in debt, but Leicester allow the managers to bring in who they want, within reason, obviously.
Oh, of course, yes.
Budget. But yeah, so it just shows, Leicester, you could put a whole new starting 11 out there that wasn't in the title-winning squad. You could put a whole 11 out there who weren't first-team players who weren't in the squad that won the league. If you replace Iheanacho, Vardy and Schmeichel with the Ward, but he couldn't say the same about Spurs.
No. I think they'll struggle if Kane goes.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have. What I'm saying is you'd have a mixture of players that were in that 15-16 season, and you'd have a mixture of new players that have come in since. Where with Leicester, you can make a whole new team if you wanted of players they've got that weren't playing for them at the time they won the league. So, it's excellent, and I think Chelsea had a bit of a reality check. I think, and can Leicester win the league? I don't think they've quite got enough. If they didn't have Europe, I'd say yes, but I think top four would be a massive improvement for them, judging that they missed out last season. And I tell you what, if they get top four, players like Maddison and Barnes won't leave. Definitely not.
No, of course not.
League football. So yeah, and Leicester could then attract a higher quality of player as well.
Yes, it's it's interesting, isn't it? I just want to talk about Chelsea just for a brief. Obviously,
go for it, mate.
I don't really think much of Reece James particularly. I think he's okay, but I don't really rate him. Also, Rudiger, why hasn't Lampard been playing Thiago Silva? And okay, I don't rate him, Kurt Zouma, but actually that seemed to be quite a solid partnership. So obviously, I mean it's an interesting one because I was looking at just an article thinking that Chelsea should go to a 4-4-2, so with Werner and Havertz up top, Mount in midfield with N'Golo Kante in the midfield too. and Ziyech sort of as in the midfield as well. I mean,
Do you think Chelsea have got too many quality players that are very alike to pick from? You know, he's almost got too much of a headache in the forward areas.
well, yes, maybe.
Forward,
Well,
attacking,
I think he needs to start
midfield.
Werner in the central role, because that's Werner's main role. So have Werner.
Yeah, he starts on the left, doesn't he? Quite.
Yeah, so have Werner up top centrally, Pulisic on the right, maybe Ziyech on the left. Actually, yeah, and then have move Mount into midfield when Kante is back, and I think that'd be the best way. I think.
See, I don't. I'm not. I'm going to say something controversial now, because I know he's Frank's favourite player, and it's all Frank seems to go on about. But I think Mason Mount is overrated. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think, and I think I'd play him in this Chelsea side for sure, because he's one of their better performers at the minute. There's no doubt about that, in a poor collective team standard at the minute. But I think he's overrated personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would actually agree with you. Actually, I mean, Mount's okay, but if there were, better options, I don't think I would necessarily have him in my first 11.
I probably would have him. I probably would have him in my first 11 at the minute, because I think his performances merit that. But I'm not sure he's as good as everybody thinks. But go on, Will. What were you going to say?
I think Lampard should take a leaf out of Arteta's. But we see how Arsenal's doing when the youth has come in. Now, I think he should put Billy Gilmore in midfield. I think, and bring him in. I think.
Yeah, and leave out one of the bigger names.
Well, yes, I think. Yes, because I think it might give them a good kick up the backside, and we see now Arsenal, the youth are doing better than, some of the experience. And I think Chelsea may need to do the same thing, I think. I think that they need to, it'll get some players to wake up, I think. Sometimes that's what you need as a player.
Yeah, but I suppose you could look at it and go, somebody like Roman Abramovich might think, oh my gosh, we've spent all that money and they're not playing him now. So, when it's different, I know you could say, well, Arteta left Ozil out, but Ozil wasn't brought by Arteta.
No, Ozil was at Arsenal for a long time.
I mean, the fact that he's spent this much money on those players, presuming they were his choices, which you never know with Chelsea, but then it means that Roman Abramovich is saying, well, I spent all this money and he's not playing the players, and yet they're world-class players. Now, I agree, you should never play somebody on reputation. If somebody...
Oh, no, of course not.
If somebody costs you nothing because he came through the academy, and somebody costs you 150 million on reputation, then it doesn't matter if the guy that's brought you nothing plays in a similar position and is better than the 150 million man at the current time, then definitely play the better player. But I just think that we saw with Roberto Di Matteo when he won the Champions League.
Yes.
The season after, Chelsea were second or third in the league, and um,
He got sacked, didn't he?
Well, he did, but Roberto Di Matteo just before that said, "I'm not going to play Fernando Torres in a Champions League game," and the year before, not when Di Matteo was manager, but the year before, I think it was Andres Boas.
Yeah, he was his assistant, wasn't he?
I'd brought Fernando Torres in, so he was like, yeah. And Abramovich was like, yes to Roberto Di Matteo, you will play Fernando Torres, and Di Matteo refused and said, no, he's not. I'm not playing him tonight. So, and then 3 days later he got sacked. So, it's. I'm not saying that was the only reason, but I'm just saying maybe Frank feels, and it'd be a shame if he does. Because at the end of the day, the manager should pick the team, no matter how much money.
Oh yes, the owner shouldn't be really interfering, really.
Unless, no matter how much money has been spent. But yeah, I do.
In fact, sorry, Sam. I think that's why Scholes, he quit Oldham. I think.
Yeah, it's the owner that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think that he's not, maybe Frank feels that he can't. He needs to pick a team that shows he's playing the big stars, and even if that means the team suffers on balance because of that, then which would be a shame, because the manager should never feel pressured. All the players, even the youth, the academy players are all part of the club, so you should play who you want to play.
Yes.
But I'm yawning now. But it doesn't always work like that, especially when there's been big money involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so let's move on now. So we move on to, Leeds v Southampton was postponed. So Manchester City 2, Aston Villa 0. The goals from Bernardo Silva.
That's because Southampton were in the FA Cup.
Yes.
Playing Shrewsbury from a game that.
Yep. Yeah, because that was postponed, obviously, wasn't it? Due to, because Shrewsbury had the virus, yep. So, Manchester City 2, Aston Villa 0. Goals from Bruno Fernandes, lookalike Bernardo Silva, and Ilkay Gundogan in the 90th minute with a penalty. Rodri assisting Bernardo Silva's goal. What did you think of this game?
I've not seen the highlights, I have to say, but it sounded like Villa. I listened to it on bits on the post-match about on the radio, and they said that Villa were very much in the game, and played very well. And I think City's goals, if you just remind me well, were all late goals. Were 2 late goals, weren't they?
Yes.
What minutes did they score in?
Oh, sorry. So Bernardo Silva in the 79th minute, assisted by Rodri, and then Gundogan in the 90th minute with a penalty.
Yeah, so that just shows how Villa have improved, because, alright, they got beat 2-0, but it was 0-0 up until 79 minutes, so,
yeah, and Villa have been... Oh, sorry, Sam.
I was just going to say, it just shows how much they've improved. Carry on, Will.
And Villa have obviously, we don't know what states they're in, do we? Because obviously we know that Villa have had a rough time recently because of, the virus and stuff. So, yeah, you don't know, but yeah, great result for City. Yep.
Yeah, and I think Villa were disappointed staying in the game that long. You know, fair enough if City hit you early, but I think it's they'll obviously be disappointed, but they've still got 3 games in hand on some of the teams around them, so they'll be okay.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was saying to my dad last night, even if Villa lose all the games in hand, it's different to Arsenal where the expectations are different. But if Villa had 4 games in hand this time last year and lost them all, they would have been probably bottom of the league. But the fact of the matter is that they are
Fantastic.
sorry that they are they're far better off this year. So even if they lose the games in hand, they've still the work they've done in the early part of the season, will really help them, where to be safe. And if Villa get mid-table or anywhere like that, that's what are they now, 12th? Would they finish anywhere near that, even if they lose these games in hand? And if they finish at the end of the season 12th or whatever, then that'll be a great season for Villa.
Oh, it will be, won't it? Yeah, it will be a fantastic season for Villa. And I really like Villa. I think Dean Smith is doing a fantastic job. I think they've got so many good players. Tyrone Mings, El Ghazi, Grealish,
he got sent
Martinez.
Off. He got sent off, apparently, Dean Smith.
He did, yes. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Oh, right. So it says here, he allegedly used abusive and or assaulting language towards the match official after City's opening goal in the 2-0 Premier League defeat.
Yeah, because apparently it was offside, somebody said.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said it was offside and it shouldn't have stood. And apparently even the pundits all thought it was offside, so what VAR who are meant to be clear and obvious have seen that.
Well, I'll have to watch.
City, what are you reckoning about City?
Obviously, City are on a good run, but if they do get a couple of injuries, I'm not sure they can win the. Oh goodness me! Sorry, just to interrupt, but Burnley are leading 1-0 Liverpool. It's Barnes. I can't remember what his name is. Something Barnes.
Ashley Barnes.
That's it. I always want to say Harvey Barnes. Sorry, Ashley Barnes. Yep. And so it's Burnley 1, Liverpool 0. Wow. And we'll keep on that. So as I was saying, City
going through a bit of a rough time, aren't they, Liverpool?
Yeah. So going back to City, I don't think they're going to win the title, because even though they're on a good run, I don't know. But see, there's so many teams up there. I mean, I don't think Liverpool are going to win the title. I don't think Leicester are going to win the title. I don't think Tottenham are going to win the title. I don't think United are going to win the title. So, who knows?
Who do you think are going to win the title then?
Well, that's the thing, is you the way things are going, you just don't know.
Win it. Well, if you don't think all those sides are going to win it, which are all pretty big teams, who do you think will? I'm not saying you don't have to say for sure, but who do you think is most likely to win the league then?
I would say it would probably be between City and Liverpool, but you know, like I said, I wouldn't want to predict. You know, I said at the beginning of the season my gut feeling would be Chelsea. Now, I just
I said that, to be fair.
oh yeah, we both did. But now I just it's changing so much. I wouldn't want to predict who wins it, and let's hope it keeps it like this. And I just hope that the fans can come back in, or at least some fans at the end of the season, and because this is the most open Premier League season in goodness knows how long, and the fans are not there. So I really would love it if fans could get back into the stadium towards the end of the season. And yeah, so we'll see.
We will.
Right, so so let me just get back to it. So obviously, City and Villa, and the final game on the Wednesday was Fulham 1, Manchester United 2.
Great goal by Pogba, I've just seen it.
Yes, it was a very good goal from Pogba. I have to admit, Pogba's doing very well. He still doesn't have my full trust because, we've seen him through brilliant spells and then his inconsistency. So he doesn't have my full trust yet. And he could start by ditching his toad of an agent. But yes.
I like that.
What do you say, sir?
I like that.
Yes, well, it suits Raiola. It's slimy. Anyway.
I don't like him either.
Yeah, enough about him. So, Pogba, he still doesn't have my full trust, but he's performed really well. Cavani, obviously proven to be a really good signing. And I just love...
Proving that age is just a number.
Yes, I mean, it's like Ibrahimovic, isn't it? In fact, he reminds me of Ibrahimovic. It's Ibrahimovic, but without all the ego, without all the baggage,
Burnley have won. Anfield, Liverpool's 67 unbeaten run at home has come to an end, or was it 67?
Gosh, that's a shock.
68 games in the league unbeaten, and Burnley have ended that run at Anfield tonight. So just to recap our breaking news tonight, Liverpool's 68 unbeaten league run, not just Champions League run, but that doesn't include cups, because they did lose in the Champions League to Atletico in recent times. But their 68 unbeaten league run at home is over and ended by Burnley.
Blimey. And, wow, we didn't see that coming.
I only have two things to say to that. Clippity clop.
With like that, Sam, you could work for the Sun. So, so Cavani in the 21st minute and Paul Pogba in the 65th minute for United at the goals. Ademola Lookman caused an early scare in the 5th minute, assisted by Zambo Anguissa. So, Zambo Anguissa?
Yeah, that's right. Well, Fulham have done very well,
Yes.
Fulham
to be fair to Fulham. Oh, sorry, Sam.
I was just going to say that we've actually gone behind in so many away games, and we keep coming back. Again, not a vintage Man United performance, but one that takes us right to the top again. But yeah, I think it's all Fulham, okay, they didn't get the result this time, but all the performances have been much better. Carry on, Will.
Yes, I think Scott Parker is doing a really decent job now at Fulham. They need to get another, striker because Lookman, apart from that goal, he didn't really carry much threat. So, I think they still need another striker for me. But no, I think Fulham, they gave United a good fight actually. And
Typical United, though, we seem to be winning when we're not playing well, and everybody else around us.
Well, yes, exactly, and to be able to. Oh, sorry, Sam.
No, I just said everybody around us seems to be losing, even when we're winning and not playing well. Carry on.
Yes, it's and those are to be able to win when you're not playing well. That. I know it's a cliche, obviously, but that is what the title winners often do. So yeah, it was in a way it was a big test for United actually. It's all very well drawing at Liverpool because they're not expected to win or draw at that, but it's against the so-called small teams. No disrespect to Fulham, those are the games that obviously. That they're the ones that are probably most important.
Yeah, I mean, if it's close, then it obviously comes down to certainly not losing the big games, but beating the so-called I don't like the word small, but the so-called
minor teams
with less resources. By beating the teams with less resources, that's going to have a massive impact on your season if you want to win anything in certainly in the league.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, good win for United. I thought United obviously, Wan-Bissaka, to me, it was a bit nervy from him, but apart from that, and apart from at the beginning and towards the end, actually, I think United played pretty well, actually. They made some good blocks. They're getting good at blocking, actually. They're getting much better, Bailly, I thought, was absolutely fantastic again. And I really wish he could have played.
Did he play? Did he?
He did, yeah. I think Bailly and Maguire, that should be the long-term partnership. If Bailly could just stay fit, that is the ideal partnership. But
I agree.
If not, I mean, I would absolutely love United if they could this summer to sign Dyer, Upamecano, because he's got pace.
I love him.
And he's physical, and he would be perfect. He would, same attributes as Bailly.
Got him on my career mode for Crystal Palace, and he's now 88 rated on my career mode. He's my best player in my squad.
Yes, I signed him on Football Manager, and he was a good player for me as well. So yeah, I would, if Bailly can't get fit, if they could get Upamecano, I'd be really over the moon. I would, but no, let's hope Bailly can just stay fit, and I think it was a shame that Bailly didn't play against Liverpool, because I would have really liked him to play against Liverpool. But obviously Solskjaer, while he's playing well, he'll be wary of Bailly's injury record, and obviously he's trying to, just manage, his fitness and sort of wrap him in cotton wool, especially with loads of games at the moment.
Yeah, he's got to use Lindelof when he needs to. Bailly can't, and Maguire can't play every game. I saw a stat that Maguire Maguire has Maguire's played the most minutes of any European footballer since he signed for United.
Well, yeah, I can't think of any games when Maguire hasn't played actually, because he's very, he's very physically fit. He is.
Yeah, he is. We say that now. He'll probably get injured next game.
the curse of the commentator. Okay, so that's all the games of the.
I just wanted to ask you: did you watch the game?
I did watch the United game. Yes.
Say again, sorry, mate. I missed that. You cut out.
Yes, I did watch the United game. Yes.
And do you think Fulham have a good? I'm not saying they will, but do you think they have a good chance of staying up?
Yes, I think if they perform like that, they just need to get some results and obviously get goals. But you know, at least if you go down fighting, that's the best way to, you know, go down.
Yeah, and also they'll win more games playing like that than they'll lose.
Well, yes, exactly, and you know, let's hope Brighton.
They're not going to come up against Man United every week, are they?
No, absolutely. Right, so tomorrow in the FA Cup is Chorley and Wolves. Chorley obviously beating Derby County. A fantastic, you know, it'll be another great day for Chorley. You know, having Wolves at their ground.
Yeah, love it.
Yes, that's why we love the FA Cup.
Come on, Charlie. Charlie. Win or lose, because there's no draws in the FA Cup.
Charlie.
Win or lose, Charlie. We'll.
Charlie.
I know. I was joking that time.
Right, okay.
Win or lose, it was a great experience getting to the fourth round. It's at Chorley's ground, isn't it? Which is a shame because they won't get any fans there. But the revenue they'll get from, obviously they won't get the revenue of the profits of the fans, but getting to the fourth round of the FA Cup, that can be, you know, for the club as a whole. I know it's not the club's not a person, but for the club, that can be life changing, you know.
Of course.
Sorry?
Oh yes, of course, and not just that. You know, the players, the staff. You know, they'll come across. You know, being able to say they played with Traore and Fabio Silva and.
International players.
Yes, exactly.
Players that have played in Europe.
Yeah, so that'll be fantastic for them. So that
I think it encapsulates the FA Cup, and I think it's a win or lose. Yes, it matters to them. They'll want to win, of course, totally. But win or lose, what a run it's been. They can hold their heads up high.
Absolutely. And then Saturday the 23rd of July, there's quite a lot of FA Cup games. Southampton and Arsenal. That should be a good one.
So we just run through, rather than talking through each game individually.
Oh, yes, sorry.
No, we can do if you want, but
no.
Time, so we just run through them?
Yes, so Southampton and Arsenal kicking off at 12:15. Barnsley and Norwich City at 3 o'clock. Brighton Hove Albion v Blackpool at 3 o'clock. Millwall and Bristol City at 3 o'clock. Sheffield United v Plymouth Argyle at 3 o'clock. Swansea City v Nottingham Forest at 3 o'clock. West Ham United v Doncaster Rovers at 3 o'clock. Cheltenham Town and Manchester City at 5:30.
3 o'clock? Oh no, 5:30.
On the Sunday, Chelsea and Luton Town, 12 o'clock. Brentford and Leicester City at 2:30. Fulham
looking
and
forward
Burnley
to
at
that.
2:30. Manchester United and Liverpool will be covering that, obviously, on Football Central. Be looking forward to covering that game at 5 o'clock.
What time's that?
5 o'clock. So if we start at, let's see, what about 3:30?
4+4? Well, that might be a bit long, 3:30.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
To just do a pre-match total. Why don't we say 4+4? That gives us 45 minutes.
Yes, you're right. Actually, yep. And then Everton and Sheffield Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and then there's also some games on the Monday and Tuesday. Wycombe Wanderers and Tottenham Hotspur at 7:45 on the Monday.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yes. That's why we love the FA Cup. And on Tuesday, the 26th of January at 7 o'clock, AFC Bournemouth v Crawley Town.
Go on, Crawley.
Absolutely. So just before we go, just a couple of headlines. So the National League at North and South have called for the season to be suspended because of the way the testing and the funding. So we will see what will happen for that. Liverpool's unbeaten.
Are they playing at the moment? Are they in that
Yes,
elite
yeah,
level?
they're playing at the moment. Yes.
So they're just above the elite. I mean, when I say they're playing, because non-elite footballers aren't playing, are they?
No.
But they are classed the North and South as elite level, aren't they?
Yes.
Right.
Liverpool's unbeaten 68 match league home run ended by Burnley with an Ashley Barnes goal to make it 1-0 to Burnley, so that's amazing. The ex-England defender Peter Swan has passed away, aged 84. Sheffield Wednesday.
God rest his soul.
Absolutely, 19 caps for England, but unfortunately, because of a ban from betting, it ended his career.
What a shame.
Yes, well, and Kieran Trippier, I mean, it's going to be hard for him to get back, but we'll see. Neil Lennon says no crisis, but title may be beyond them after their 2-2 draw, Celtic that is, with Livingston.
I think the title might be beyond them, don't you?
And Jordan Ibis.
I think it would take. I don't know. It would take. I don't know. It would take a miracle, and for Rangers to completely go off the boil.
Yes, well, we'll see, won't we? Because football, it's crazy and things can happen. Jordan Ibe, the former Liverpool and Bournemouth and Derby winger, is in a dark place with depression, but he says, I will fix myself in this situation, which I'm 100% committed to, not only for my family, friends, or my beautiful daughter, but for me. So we wish him really well.
Where's he playing now, Jordan?
Derby County.
Who is he? He was a talented young player. Never quite lived up to his potential, did he?
No. Dean Smith.
What's that? What's the fella called that's died as well?
Oh, sorry. It was something Swan. Peter Swan, yeah.
Oh, well, my thoughts are with your family, Peter, and with you. And, thank you for bringing joy to so many people.
Yes. Dean Smith charged by FA after red card during the Manchester City game, and Real Madrid Zinedine Zidane's job is on the line. Even though they're still second on the table of the Liga, they went out of the Spanish Cup. not exactly best place in the dressing room, and
No, he's not the most popular, is he?
no, it'd probably give them a headbutt, probably. And and finally, Martin Odegaard, talking of Real Madrid, would prefer move to Real Sociedad if he leaves Real Madrid on loan. This month, says Spanish football expert Guillem Balaguer.
Yeah, Gillian Balaguer, yeah.
Yeah, that's him. And and Sergio Aguero's return is delayed after he tested positive for the virus.
Poor Sergio is not gonna.
No, it's not been a good season. And do you think this will be his last season?
I think there's a chance that it might be his last season at City. I mean, even though he's been a City player, what a player he's been. The record goal scorer for City. Could have gotten any side in the world as well at one point.
Yes, I think it seems like an end of an era. I think, with him not being fit and, his contract situation, I can't see him staying. And Neil Harris has been sacked by Cardiff City as well, sorry.
Has he?
Yes, he has, yes.
Oh. Surprised.
Yes, I mean they're only fifth in the championship apparently. Yeah.
No, what in the championship?
Oh no, sorry. Sorry, no. They're 15th in the table. Sorry, it was their fifth in succession in the championship and their sixth defeat in all competitions. Sorry, yeah, but they're 15th.
Yeah, it's not good.
Right, and I think we should leave it there.
Well, I would just like to say before we go, me and Mr. TubeMix were talking off air about before we came on about a super league that's been proposed. It's been proposed for a while, but there's been serious developments today about a European Super League where the likes of United, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, 20 of the top teams would break away from their domestic leagues from around the world and from around Europe and form their own league. Premier League with lesser, leaving the English game with lesser teams, and potentially, that could happen. And I just wanted to. I would love. We're probably not going to get time now, but I would love to get your opinions on this, everybody. So if you could message us whenever when we're doing the next show, which I think will be Saturday, doing the United
Sunday.
Liverpool Sunday. Sorry, doing the United Liverpool match. But if you could message, because I think the talk of a Super League would just ruin the English game. It would ruin it. The team breaking away. There'd be no promotion and no relegation in that Super League. It'd just be 20 teams, and once they're a member, I've been told they'll always be a member. I think it's completely ridiculous. It's a money stunt, and they need to hand their heads in shame. And if it ever happened, I would never watch football again. Other than my local teams. I would never watch Manchester United again. I would rip my shirt up and throw it in the fire if that happened. Because put it this way, no, you can't be having that. Domestic leagues needs to stay domestic. You can't be having super clubs breaking away. I'm not having it. It's ridiculous. And it would damage the English game because you'd still have all the leagues, but then lower teams that were getting, and you'd still have promotion and relegation in the English game. But then teams that came up into the Prem wouldn't get to play against the top teams, and there'd be probably no Champions League. And the FIFA have come out today and said that they won't support it, and UEFA won't support it. But we know that these clubs like City and United and Liverpool own pretty much countries, so we all know what will happen. But I'm telling you now, I will never set foot in Old Trafford again if that happens. And I am disgusted that my club, Man United, are at the forefront of these plans. They're at the forefront of Project Restart or whatever the shit was called. And now this. Absolutely appalling. And that's all I have to say. So get your opinions in. Maybe your opinions are different to mine. But yeah, I'd be very surprised. Because we would ruin the beautiful game. And ties like Marine against Tottenham in the FA Cup. And the joy of watching our teams locally would never happen. And also, it would take away from the speciality, which is playing European sides in Champions League football, which is a wonderful thing, and it would just come monotonous and boring, and yeah. But FIFA have said that any player that if they got approved would never play in the World Cup for them anyway, and I say good. They should never. The FA should back out of pull the plug on the clubs that do that. If that happens, they can go on their own. And that's me done.
Wow. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to get your views on that. And oh, sorry, just a late comment from JLI Wheels, probably really late, but Perry NG, the crew captain, who joined Cardiff, he played last night. So yeah, apologies, JLI Wheels.
Did he play, Perry?
Yes, he did.
Now his manager's gone.
Yes, well, yes, it makes you wonder that if he wanted to sign him and then now he's gone.
Go back to the crew.
Well, yep. So,
what are your views, Will, on that Super League? You might have different views.
Well, without seeing the full thing, I don't.
No, but your initial feelings.
Well, obviously it wouldn't be good. You know, if we didn't.
I'm not going to be angry if you disagree.
Well, I don't know. In some ways it would be good, and some ways it'd be bad. You know, there'd be positives and negatives. One positive for me is obviously, you know, UEFA and FIFA, you'd get away from them. But obviously, you know, I understand your points as well. I don't know really.
We will see.
Yes, but I can't see it happening, Sam. So I think it'd be very, very unlikely for it to actually happen. But we'll see.
We will.
So we'd love to hear your views on that, and maybe we can talk about it when we're next on Sunday.
I'd love to talk about it. I could talk about it till I don't know, till
the cows come home.
Well, I was going to say that, but judging by the fact that my garden got trampled by cows last year. Yeah, don't want to tempt fate.
And Jello Wilson said we've just re-signed Billy Jones, so it's all good. I have to be honest, I don't know who he is, but I presume he's used to play for Crew.
I don't know who he is either. Sorry, mate.
Oh, right, okay. So, my
I'm
thanks
sure
to...
we'll get a bit of stick for that.
Yes.
Not knowing him.
So my thanks to Sam Taylor for your company. It's it's been it's been a good one. Yeah, it's been a good one.
Sorry, Will, I've talked a lot during this.
No. I think it's been it's been a good show. It's been a good, relaxing show, which is good. Some good points, good discussion. Yeah. So we will be back on Sunday.
You can relax. You can relax when Daylight Wheels isn't there.
No, we love him on this show. We do.
I paid him to say that.
So, we'll be back on Sunday for the United v Liverpool. I'm looking forward to that game. It'll be another interesting one. You know, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? Obviously, Arsenal playing Southampton in the Cup, and then they're playing in the league, and then United v Liverpool have played in the league, and now they're playing in the Cup.
I know. It is.
Oh,
mad.
J.L. Wills has said, West Brom and Sunderland right back. Billy Jones. Oh, he does sound familiar, actually.
Him, yes, he played for Sunderland in the Premier League, didn't he? But
Billy Jones, yes, yeah. I think. Yeah. Well, I certainly know the name. Might not know his face, but yeah.
Yes, I can remember him.
So, my thanks to Sam Taylor for his company.
Thank you.
No problem. If you want to, if you liked what you've seen, feel free to like, share, comment and subscribe to the... Oh no, so I should let Sam do the outro, actually.
No, you've started now, Will. So
oh yeah, I've been like mastermind. I've started, so I'll finish. If you like what you've seen, if you want to like, share, comment and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel. And from all of us here, good night, stay safe, and thanks for watching from all of us here. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.